英国牛话有什么重要的事情想在台湾改变？
I have a big thing.
我今天要采访英国Cici。
Hi， 我是 Cici。
英国Cici环岛旅行后，发现她最喜欢台湾哪一个地方
2 years ago, we did a 环岛 trip.
她为什么15岁就开始学中文？
听得懂中文。
哦 ，OK。英国人觉得台湾医疗怎么样
And they were so obsessed with how the hospital system was run.
还有更多，我们来一起看Cici的故事。
Hi， 我是 Cici， 我是英国的学生，我住在台湾1个月。
Can you share the story? How did you know about Taiwan at the first place?
So I did Chinese studies as my undergraduate degree in the UK. So I got sent here 3 years ago for a year abroad.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, and I spent a year here studying Chinese.
Oh, back then, like, do you remember, like, when you just came here? What was your first impression?
Humid.
Oh, humid.
The first time I came here, it was COVID, so I had to quarantine for 2 weeks in a hotel.
Oh.
And it was north, it was like Geelong area, I believe. Yeah, there was this beautiful beach, and we couldn't go outside. I was on the 15th floor, and every time I would step outside to look at this amazing view, it was just like so hot, so humid.
Oh.
So first impression was beautiful, beautiful nature, and very hot at that time.
And, like, how did your family react when you told them that you will go and live in Asia, like, for 1 year?
I think they were happy for me. They were
Really?
excited for me,
Oh.
but I think they were like, they knew they were going to miss me and stuff, but they were excited.
But did
yeah.
they feel worried or something like that? I don't know.
I don't think too worried. Like, Taiwan's very safe. Once they knew that I'd kind of got my apartment set up, they were kind of okay.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. And when you just came here and started to live here, do you have, like, some, like, funny or awkward cultural misunderstandings?
People being quiet and very respectful on public transport, I was not used to, because I'm from London, and on the tube, which is like the MRT in London, everyone's like loud, noisy, people drink alcohol, like there's no inhibitions. And then I was quite surprised, like we got told off a fair few times when we'd be like on a bus and we'd be speaking together as a group and it'd be a bit rowdy, and yeah, people would tell us off. Or I've been told off in the station a few times for like drinking water, because I always forget that you can't do that. So I have my like water bottle I drink, and then I've had like a security guard come and be like, you can't drink water, and I'm like, oh, sorry. So yeah, that's very different.
And was it hard for you to get used to those people?
No, I think it's fairly like, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's easy to get after a while.
Okay. And, like, do you have, like, any cultural shock, like, when you came here, like any other?
I think for me, one of the biggest things on like a very daily level was walking out of my apartment and like walking on the road a lot of the time. And like, obviously you have the like Dao areas, and like in London, it's like there's very much like pavements and you're separate from the road. And I think that was a really difficult thing, even though I'm from a big city, like walking outside and being like, there's scooters going every direction and cars, and it's very busy, and you just constantly have to be alert. So I think I don't mind it now that I'm back, but I think when I first came here, I found that quite difficult to adjust to.
And I know, like, you came here, like, to study Chinese, right?
Yeah.
And how long you have been studying Chinese for?
So I did 4 years of my undergrad, and then I did a couple of years studying Chinese at school, but it wasn't very serious, so I don't really count that.
So, how's your Chinese now?
还好，
还好。
还行。
所以你在台湾都可以听得懂，都可以讲得懂。
听得懂中文。
Oh, okay. And did you learn Simplified or traditional?
I learned both at
both.
university. Yeah.
So you can even read, like, Chinese characters?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
read and write both.
And, like,
yeah.
what is your Chinese name?
Han Xili.
Oh, Han Xili.
Han Xili, because my English name is Cicely Hunt, so
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So it's very, like very similar, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And what do you think about Chinese language in general?
Oh, I love it. It's fantastic. It's so interesting, and there's always something quirky. I mean, it's so difficult as well. Obviously, growing up in Europe, European languages are, I think, probably much easier for Europeans to pick up, because it's like the same alphabet and the grammar structures are so similar. So it's a lot harder, but in some ways it's also a lot easier with grammar, and you don't have to conjugate things. And yeah, but it's very rewarding, and I do really enjoy speaking it.
And in the first place, like, why did you decide to learn Chinese?
My school trialed it for us, and I just really enjoyed it, and I thought, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I always really liked languages, so I always knew that I wanted to study some kind of language. And I visited China when I was 15, and I loved it, and I was like, God, I would love to learn the language like properly. So yeah.
Okay. So you started, like, in 15, like, to learn Chinese?
Yeah, kind of.
It's a long time.
No, not that long, not that seriously.
And, like, do you speak any other languages?
I speak un poquito de español.
Oh, español.
Y un poquito de
Bien.
francés.
Okay. Oh, nice. So it's like 4 languages, right?
I wouldn't really count French.
Oh,
I just
okay.
throw that one in there.
Because now you came here to Taiwan for the second time. So
Yes.
like, how did you decide to come here for the second time?
So I got a scholarship to come and study here, so that's kind of what drove me to come here. I love Taiwan. I lived here for obviously a year. I kind of knew what it would be like. I was a bit bored in the UK, and I just thought I want a bit of excitement. I really love Taipei, so yeah, I thought I'd come back here for a bit.
Okay. But for you, like in general in Taiwan, like what things do you like here?
I love that public services are really well maintained. I love that the U-bike system is like, it works so well, it's so cheap. Public transport is so clean and so cheap. I love that like I can eat out all the time. Food here is so cheap and so delicious. Those are my main things, I think, yeah.
Okay, and how about the things that you don't like?
I don't like the fact that I have to buy bottled water a lot of the time. I really miss like drinking tap water in the UK. I find the humidity very intense. Like I'm very used to like cold, rainy, dry British weather. So I love that it's like sunny, but the humidity is a lot for me. And then supermarkets here are a lot more expensive. Like buying groceries, I find is much more expensive than in the UK. So, but I don't really mind that because it means I get to eat out. So yeah, it's fine.
And like some people, they say that Taipei is kind of like London in terms of like how it rains and everything. And like how do you think? Do you think it's similar or not? Like
no, the first time I came back from Taiwan, I said to myself, I will never complain about rain in the UK again. Because like genuinely, like in the UK it rains and people love to complain about the weather. But in Taipei, it rains. Like, I've never experienced such long periods of like heavy rain. Like, it's on another level here.
Okay, so
definitely.
it's completely different.
Yeah, completely different. Like in the UK, like I don't really use umbrellas in the UK. Whereas here, I have to have one because otherwise I just get like literally like soaked through when I go out in the rain.
Have you seen like the garbage trucks here?
Yes, love the garbage trucks.
Like what do you think
Bring
about
them to the UK. Love it, big fan.
Like were you surprised like when you saw it for the first time?
Yes, I was. I remember at my language school they kind of taught us the system of it. But I still find it a bit confusing, like, because I think some nights you have to throw away some certain things. But luckily, like, often I'll try and throw away the wrong thing and someone on the street will help me out and tell me how it goes. Yeah, I'm still getting to grips with the system, but I really like it and it's really fun. And it's like a nice like community thing to have, that things are kept really clean because it's so frequent.
And have you had a chance to go to the hospital here in Taiwan or no?
Yes, I have been. I know that my friend brought his whole family to Taiwan and they were so obsessed with how the hospital system was run and how efficient and quick and cheap it was. I mean, to be fair, like I think their various members of the family got ill, but they ended up going 3 times and they like loved the hospital. They were like, it's so amazing. Because yeah, in the UK, the NHS is not in a great place at the moment.
But like, is it like because it's expensive or it just like doesn't cover a lot of things?
There's just so much demand. Yeah. But in Taiwan, like it runs really efficiently, so it's reassuring.
Right. If someone wants to come here, like a foreigner, like what things would you suggest them to know before they come to Taiwan?
I would just say like be open-minded, maybe. There's some things that I would tell myself to bring from home that you can't get here, or like it would be more expensive here. Like I know lots of English people really like English tea. So if you were that kind of person, I'd say like stock up on things like English tea. I think Taiwan is fairly easy to settle into. Like the atmosphere here is very inviting and welcoming. So.
And like, is there anything from back home that you miss? Like something from UK that you miss and you wish it would be here? Like besides the family and like something that you have it on daily basis in the UK, but when you came here, like you realized, oh, Taiwan doesn't have this type of thing.
Ovens.
Ovens.
Ovens. I feel like maybe ovens aren't that popular here. I haven't seen a lot of ovens. An oven would be fun.
Like the one you have in an apartment, right?
Yeah. Like in the UK, like most places have an oven just for like cooking oven pizza and just like baking things and stuff like that. And I feel like I've never seen an apartment here with an oven, but maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What things you saw in Taiwan that you think it will be nice to have in UK?
A working U-bike system. I think that would be really nice.
Do you have like something similar to your bike?
We do, but it's much more expensive and it's kind of unregulated. It's basically controlled by like private companies instead of the government. So
it's not like one company, it's like different companies.
It's like different companies, it's all a bit complicated, and then like people can just leave the bikes anywhere on the street, so it's kind of messy. 7-Eleven, gotta have a 7-Eleven, we gotta bring them to the UK.
Do you have like convenience stores or not?
Kind of. In the UK you just have supermarkets and they're cheap and you can get anything you want and it's good. But you gotta love a 24-hour open a day 7-Eleven for any snack, anything that you need. I have to say, bring the 7-Elevens to the UK.
Because you have been studying here for some time, so how do you think the studying culture is different in Taiwan and in UK?
It's difficult to say because I'm at language school here, which is very different from having a degree. So at language school, I only do like 2 hours of class a day, whereas in my degree, I had like sometimes 4 or 5 hours a day and then like a lot of work. I think students seem similarly like Ranjan and like, yeah, they study hard.
Okay,
yeah.
so very similar. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing. In the UK, all students go clubbing, whereas I've heard in Taiwan, students don't go clubbing, students don't go out. When they graduate, they go out. And in the UK, like probably the biggest demographic of people who go out and go clubbing and enjoy the nightlife are students. Whereas I find that really strange here. Like I meet students and I meet friends and they don't really go out. And that's really strange to me because I'm very used to like with all my friends going out all the time. Yeah.
What kind of like the most interesting places have you discovered in Taiwan?
I loved Ilan. 2 years ago, we did a like Huandao trip. So we went all around the island and Ilan was particularly special, I think. Yeah, Taiwan's got just loads of really great places to visit. So yeah, I love the hot spring culture as well. I love just pulling up to a hot spring, that's fantastic. Night market culture, I think people love, like when people come here, I think that's really, really popular.
What kind of challenges have you faced here in Taiwan?
Missing friends and missing family, that's a big one. I'd also just say like trying to understand how to get a visa can be quite difficult as well. I'd say like that's quite a big thing, and obviously like figuring out like how many hours of class I need to do a week to get my visa and that kind of stuff. That's quite a big challenge. And then I think when I first came here, my Chinese was really bad. And so being here and not being able to communicate very well was difficult because even though everyone is like super friendly and willing to help and lots of people will try and speak English as well, it's just frustrating not being able to like communicate like, oh, I need this medicine, or I want to, oh, I want a bag with that, or something like that. So maybe communication at first was the biggest barrier, but I think now that's kind of not so much of an issue anymore.
Okay. Last question I want to ask you is, if you had the chance, like what things about Taiwan would you change?
I have a big thing, plastic.
Plastic.
The amount of plastic. And I know that a lot of it is supposed to be recycled, but I think in the UK there's been a really big plastics revolution thing where there's like a tax on plastic. I know that recently I think plastic straws and maybe plastic cups have been banned, which is good. But when I first came here, I was really, really, really shocked at the amount of plastic, because even though it's recycled, like I know that recycling has its own problems as well. So plastic thing I would definitely change, because I love, fantastic thing about Taiwan is that everything is so convenient. You can get literally anything you want on any street in the city. And I think that's great. But I think plastic consumption and the drinking water is the biggest thing I would change.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me back.
And now let's say bye-bye together. Okay?
Bye-bye.